Welcome to Garden Talk with Sally at Garden Talk with Sally or at Talk with Sally on YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, no, not Twitch, and Venmo. I hope you're all having a good day. I'm trying a new thing. I'm using StreamYard. It's the first time I've used it with my mobile, so hopefully everything's going to go well. So I'm going to start with planting pumpkins today. I got to transplant them. They're wild seeds from last year, and I've got to get them transplanted, or they're going to go into shock, and I'll have to go buy starts, which I'd rather use the ones I have from last year. And my neighbors are outside, so I'm going to apologize ahead of time. The kids are playing in their backyard, and hopefully their music's not going to be too loud. So if there's anyone in here and you're hearing music, will you tell me so I don't get yeeted from YouTube? That would be great. My voice is a little hoarse today. Hi, Kyle. How are you? Hope you're having a good day. So hopefully their music's turned down enough. But, so we're going to plant pumpkins. I've got these piles over here, see if you can see. So I've got to dig these up. I'm going to try to be careful not to take off their main root. I'm going to transplant them over to the side. Oh, that's a long week, Kyle. That's crazy. So first I'm going to get the hose and I'm going to drench these pretty good so that when I separate out the roots, I don't break any of the main ones. Kyle, can you hear the neighbor's music? Let me know if you can. Oh, good. So it's not going through my mic. It's supposed to cancel out some of the noise. Anyway, so pumpkins are not, they're like raspberry plants. So as they grow out wide and they send out their feeders, where their stem touches, they actually send another root down. So when you first start watering them, you can just water them at the base. But as they start to grow and get bigger, then you want to water. So as you start, thank you, Kyle. So as you start to water, as they start to get bigger, you don't want to just water at the hole. And I just barely learned this like 2 years ago. So you're going to water the whole area of where the plant is, and that'll make them a lot bigger. So I'm hoping when I did my cucumbers, they went into shock. They look like they're dead, but they're not. The ends are now starting to send out some healthy shooters. So even though they look horrible right now, they're going to recover. No worries, I know what you meant. I'm hoping the condenser in my mic will block that part of it out. Usually I like to transplant these before they get this big, but with everything in the weather, I haven't. So this is number one priority today. And then I'm going to show you how to do three sister corn. I've never done it before, but I've got it all set up. And so I just got to plant the peas and the summer squash in them. So I'm kind of excited to see how it turns out. It's just good practice. Let's see if I'll be able to dig that up pretty good. I'm going to dig really deep to see if I can save most of the root system. There's one right there all ready to go. The lone plant. I'm going to plant at least 3 of these in a mound. Let's see if that's going to work. Nope, that's still too tough ground. Might have to soak it just a little bit more. Oh, that's good right there. I'm going along all the outside edge. I don't know how far these roots are out. I don't want to risk breaking any of them off. And I could leave them here, but they're too close to my pepper plants and they get so huge that I don't want to risk them taking over everything. There's a bunch of wild tomatoes growing in here. Can you see what I'm doing good enough, or should I move up here? Okay, good. Just the last thing I want is to get a copyright strike because my neighbors are playing music, which is really dumb. Let's see if I can move this down so you can see better what I'm doing. I'm really liking how StreamYard is working on the cell phone. I was a little hesitant at first, but so far it's going really well. This is how big a tomato plant would be if I were to grow it wild. And I just pull them up because I have so many tomato plants. So the ones I have are huge now. Just trying to make sure. So what I did last year, when I carved pumpkins, I dug a hole out here and I just put the seeds directly into the ground, a big huge pile of them. And this was a spot where I did that. Once I get it up, there's tons of seeds in here. These are all looking like they're pumpkin. Try to get their roots separated. There's one little guy. Let's see if I can keep some of these bigger ones. That one's a whole plant. So the goal is to not break. I don't want to break the bigger plant's roots. I have to get it wet. To get a little bit lower down. Are you liking being back to work, Kyle, or does it kind of suck? Some people like being back to work. Others not so much. I like that one's a lone guy. Then get him dug up. You can tell this is complete. This is a big chunk of clay right here. And sadly, I don't want to break it apart. I want to break them roots. So I'm actually going to bring it over. I'm going to get mud all over this camera stand. I just know it. See if you can see over here. So we're going to put it in this mound right here. We got it pretty dug up. Of course, oh, there's my hoe. So I'm just going to make my mound. So I'm going to try to put 3 of these plants in a mound. When you do seeds, usually you want to plant like 4 or 5 because not all of them will germinate. So if you have ones that are not germinated or that you already have one that are from starts, then you can just go ahead and put them directly in the ground. And the reason why I'm moving them is to spread them out because there's probably like 15 plants in one of those holes. And I've got 5 mounds. So I'll have about 15 plants. And if I get a lot of them, then I'll give them a lot of them to the neighbors and stuff. I haven't really experimented with like doing pumpkin pies and stuff. I think it'd be good. I want to learn this year how to put up the pumpkin So you can make homemade pies and stuff. If I do, I'll show you guys how to do it. Okay, hopefully I didn't disrupt that root system very much at all. I'm going to try to make it to where I could put at least 3 more in here. All right, so we're going to go back over to this pile. Hopefully these have soaked out a little bit so we can see. Oh, you do traffic control? So for airplanes? That's a pretty cool job. Make sure that don't fall over. Yeah, this is a big old chunk of clay. It's probably why a lot of those other ones didn't germinate that well. I'm going to take this little guy. Since I already have his whole root system, I should just grab him first. And we'll put him over here too. There we go. I don't necessarily have to put the pumpkins in a mound. I like to because it makes it easier to make sure I water really good at first. So I'm going to get one more in there. Off to this side. So I've got a spot already dug up. So hopefully I'm going to be able to get another one of these separated pretty easily. High school leader, how? Yes, that clay is the worst. I've broken up a ton of it over the last couple of years. This particular spot in the garden still has a little bit of it, but it's getting better all the time. The pumpkins, I've always planted them on that side, and they grow really well over there. Oops. I want that on me. I want that on the pumpkins. There you go. Yeah, those are entrenched in some clay. Look at that. I hate clay. I can't wait till this is much better soil. That's why I always fortify and add a little bit of dirt every time I plant. Sloppy. This is why I wear rubber gloves. All right, so I've got a bunch here. If they have any kind of, if they're still attached to the seed, I don't want to separate them from the seed because that's where they get a lot of their nutrition until they grow. So you can see that. There's like 5 or 6 starts in there. That's what I get for burying all those seeds all in one spot. But out of the thousands of seeds that are in there, not all of them germinate, which is kind of crazy. Hi, Snafu. How are you doing? Snafu at Kevmont should have you on. I don't know if he would. I'm getting better at my streaming software now, and so each day it's getting a little bit better. So eventually one of these days I would love to, but gonna get my courage up. Maybe one night when one of his guest bells, I like him, which everybody in here knows I do. So that root system looks like it's kind of broke. We'll plant it deep and see if it'll recover. Sometimes when we're transplanting like this, some of them die, and it's just the way it goes. Hopefully, I don't know if that's going to recover. We're going to set that in there gently. So I'll keep an eye on it. If that one dies, then I'll just grab another one and put it in its place. Whoever's in here, I don't know. Apparently Nick, I think someone said Nick is back. If he's not streaming tonight, we're going to do another watch party, and we're going to watch a scary movie. It's going to be Smile. So it's still on Amazon Prime. Last night we watched Violet Night, and it was actually a very well done movie. I was very surprised at how well done it was. I'm not sure how to find out where grasshoppers live. When they're out in full blast, I will use neem seed oil and I'll just spray them. But I don't get a super ton of them. But it seems like the neem seed oil that I use, and I'll show you maybe tomorrow night. I've got a spray for like mosquitoes and stuff, but it's a natural pesticide, herbicide, all that type of stuff, and you can spray it every 5 days. So I've got my other pile, try to grab it all at once. Let's start with this back one here. Grasshoppers, I don't have the answer for, because I've never really had a problem with grasshoppers, but they do eat everything. I think you can put baking soda. Let me look at some of my videos that I've been doing some research on. A lot of people sprinkle some baking soda on the leaves, but I would like to do a test. I would like to test one out first on just one plant to make sure what they're saying is accurate and works. So the last thing I'd want is have you put something on your plants that'll kill them. This is not my best soil in my garden. But the one good thing about clay is it does make it so you don't have to water quite as often, because it does hold the moisture. So there's a catch-22. And there is a lot of good soil mixed in with it. Done a lot of like burning and stuff. Oh, there we go. There's one. And that one has a seed attached to it, so I'm going to make sure it's in its place. Anybody have any questions? So these pumpkins, they get I call them pumpkin beetles. I'm not sure if that's their official name, but they are kind of like aphids, and they'll lay eggs on the bottom of the leaves. And last year I went out of town, so I didn't spot them soon enough. So you have to really watch for those, because they'll eat the foliage, and they'll gradually kill your plant, and they take all the nutrition from it. But this year, I get on top of it and spray them with neem seed oil. Right away, it will kill the larvae that's trying to grow. I don't know the last time that we had a problem with Mormon crickets. The seagulls, as you know, came and ate all of the crickets. So that's why our state bird is the seagull, because it saved everybody's crops. And it was, well, yeah, the crickets. Was it the crickets? Whatever that was. There we go. Hoping this one isn't going to shock. It's pretty healthy. When I water these mounds, I'm not going to water them too much. Last year, I think I overwatered them and put them into shock. So when you're taking and they're from a start, you want to like drench them with water. But here you don't. So probably like 2 weeks ago, I took the water from the pond and I drained it into this area. So kind of like a nitrogen fortification of the soil. So it's already got good nitrogen in it to start. And pumpkins, I don't really have a problem. They usually are pretty easy to grow. The only problem I've ever had with them is the pumpkin beetle. And this year, if I have to, I will take the vacuum out and I'll just vacuum the larvae off because they're like aphids and they reproduce like crazy. They're like a gray little bug that looks like a stink bug. This is the only bad part about this stupid clay. Oh, there's another one. That one came out apart good. So we've got 3 per mound. And a lot of times, even if these die off, they'll still send out shooters and they'll just kind of keep on growing. Two mounds done. Oh, before I forget, I'm going to show you guys how to. Americans used to eat the Mormon crickets. Yeah, then they all moved up to Canada and now they eat up there. Oh, that's nice. As long as the birds don't eat your vegetation, that's really nice. I was going to say something. Oh, before I get too far on this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hurry and soak the pea seeds. So this is something I haven't tried before, but I'm going to soak them with 1 cup of water and 1 tablespoon or 1 teaspoon of 3% hydrogen peroxide. And what that's going to do is going to take all the bacteria or any disease off the outside of the shell and kind of soften it. And we're going to do that for 30 minutes, but it will not destroy the seed. So I've got my bucket here, and I've got, or does it say the percentage on here? Want to make sure it's the right. Yep. So yeah. So this is for sure 3%. Doing a double check because they have some that is higher strength, and you don't want to use the higher strength. I'm going to put about a cup of water in this bowl, and then I'm going to get like 12 pea seeds out. I'm going to put a teaspoon, which is going to be a capful. There's about 2 cups in there actually, so I'm going to put 2 capfuls in there. And I'm going to take my pea seeds. I know I have peas in here. Oh, I left the peas upstairs. Hold on 1 sec. I'll go grab the peas real quick. Hopefully you can still hear me. So gardening for me is a lot multitasking like this, so I can stay productive, which kind of takes a little bit of planning. All right, found them. So I've already planted peas once this year. So I've already got the first ones about a month in now. And so with my corn, with the 3 Sister corn, we'll plant peas in there. And I'll explain why once we get to the corn part of the video. So kind of some good news. I got, hold on one sec. Please in here. I think I have 5 plants, 5 times 15. So I need 15 of these in there. Put a little bit extra. It won't hurt. So let these soak for a half hour. It's going to soften them up, and it should cut down on the germination time. So that's kind of, I've never done it. I heard it works. Yes, I'm breathing heavy. I don't know if I think it's just hot, and I think I'm just tired today. It's more that, like and I have a bra on, and it always squishes my rib cage, and that's why I don't wear one at home usually. That plant's already starting to go into a little bit of shock. Can you see it? I don't know if you can see that right there. So I'm going to water it right now. So I'm wondering if it's too dry. Usually you can see pretty quickly. That's why I like to do them sooner in the year. see if it's a water problem. Well, no, pretty soon. If it perks up, then it's a water problem. I don't want to add too much water. This mound's looking pretty good over here. And this one's also used to being held up by the other plants too, because they're all clustered together. All right, so anyway, so we got the pea started. Let's move over to this one over here. So you see that? Gardening versus Mr. Sally. I won't tell you where I have my endangered flowers at because I don't want people coming and looking for them. Okay, so don't become a part of that. Look at, okay, I can see. Oh, that's what I was starting to tell you is I finally got 120 foot. So yesterday I got a 50 foot category 5 cable so I can run my laptop outside so I don't lose connectivity in certain parts of the garden. And of course I measured wrong. So today I got one that's 120 feet long so I can run Cat 5 all the way out to the area in the garden that always drops signal when we do streams. So I'm pretty excited about that. And I think it'd be fun to do streams out by the pond once it gets warmer in the summer. Okay, let's see here. See, I'm gonna have to get this one wet because that's a jumbo of clay. You already see where one root's broke. I'm actually going to take this cluster. There's like 4 in there, and I don't want to risk breaking them. So I'm just going to plant these in the center, just like this, and see if we can keep them from going to shock. If it gets to be too much, I can just cut them back. Once I get this mound done, I don't know what to do with. I guess I'm gonna ask the neighbors if they want any pumpkin plants because I have a whole another patch of them. Or I could just leave them in one spot and experiment and see how they do left like that without being thinned out. I guess maybe survival of the fittest. All right. I want to overdo it. So got 1, 2, 3, 9 plants so far. So back to our little hole over here. I don't have very much land. My acre is like, I live on a very small, I went from like 3/4 of an acre to 0.15. So my yard is small. Like, so if you look at my actual yard, it's very small. So there's not a ton out here. So I try to, I just try to really utilize the space as much as I can. So I love grass, but I've said this before, but I just really think it's really important right now in this time, these days, to make sure you know how to garden. I don't necessarily need food right now, but I need to be able to teach my kids how to, in case we ever need it. Plus, I like eating the stuff in the garden a lot better. I'm gonna have to dig in this one. Oh, that's a clay hole. I hate clay. Oh, there was the tomatoes trying to grow. Uh-oh, can you guys hear the neighbor's music? They just turned it up. Oh, shit. What that'll do is cause me to go on the other side of the yard right quick. I'm just over here on this other spot. I'll be right there, guys. I'm trying to get this in the ground before. I really like my neighbors, and I bet if I asked them to turn down their music, they probably would, but I just kind of feel like an asshole asking them to. Just building up this mander on this plant real quick. Then I'm going to move my stuff over to the other side. We'll just go do the 3 sister plants. That way, if you guys have something going on, you guys can go about your day. Appreciate you guys all being in here today. All right. So moving to the other side of the yard. I don't know if you guys can hear their music, but they turn it up like double. That's better. All right, I'm hoping the signal's not going to drop in this corner of the yard, guys. So I've got what you can see, right? Let's see. You can see the corn right there. I've got 4 mounds so far. I still have some more corn to transplant because those I experimented last year and I buried a husk that, and I got like 20 plants from it. So it was just a fun experiment. So I transplanted them this year. I'm hoping they're not going to die. So I'll probably plant some corn this week, some more mounds this week. But from right now, there's our 3 sister corn. And I'm going to, let's see, hoping the signal is going to stay good right here. Higher this up. All right, so I'm gonna go grab that. Yeah, I moved the spot. Could you hear the music before? They just turned it up really loud. And like I said, they're so nice. I could probably just say, hey, can you turn it down for an hour? But it's Saturday afternoon and they're chilling with their kids on the back deck. Sorry, I just covered up my mic real quick. Oh, I'm paranoid. Oh well. What's the worst that happens is my video gets taken down. All right, so I've got our corn, and it's, or not our corn, our peas, and it's sitting here. So with 3 sister corn, what you do is on the inside where the stalks are growing, you can plant 2 to 3 peas or beans or pole beans on the inside. And what will happen is they will grow, and the nitrogen from the peas or the pole beans will put out nutrition that the corn will then use. And then in the center, you plant either like a summer squash. I'm going to plant summer squash, and I'm going to plant, so zucchini is also a summer squash. I'm going to plant some zucchini, and I get 2 kinds of, I showed you cucumbers. So, but I got zucchinis and summer squash that I got 2 different kinds of, I actually got 2 different kinds of zucchini because I didn't know. So one's called a dark green zucchini, and one is a Ford hook zucchini. And I don't honestly, I don't know the difference between the 2, so I'm just gonna experiment. Yeah, this is the 3 sisters. So I don't know if you left and came back. Can you see the corn back there? So in the center, I'm gonna plant a pea, and you can do pole beans, and then in the center, you're gonna put your squash. And it could be summer squash or winter squash. It's totally up to you. I'm gonna take those peas out. Hold on, I'm gonna grab the hose. I love having one hose in the backyard. I need to put a spout out here in the corner. Would make things a lot easier. Never mind, I'm just gonna water after. I'm gonna just plant them. Hot water, nice and good. It'll take too long to get that hose drag out. So this is the first year that I've ever done 3 sisters corn. It's an experiment, but I like the idea. What I've noticed is when the wind is blowing and it blows from different directions, that they actually kind of stay up better. So that was kind of interesting. And I think that the squash or the zucchini or whatever kind of helps hold it up. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see. I want to move the camera over, but I don't want signal to drop. So you're going to have to bear with me. I watered these good today. I'm just going to poke a hole. Peas, if you plant them later in the summer, maybe 1/4 of an inch down. Put a little bit of water on here. So you plant them in the spring, it's about 1/4 of an inch down. When you plant them later in the summer, you want to plant them a little bit deeper. I'm going to stick my finger down 2 inches. Take some of these peas out. And on these mounds, I also put some, I'll put some leaves out here from my tree because they like to kind of stay moist. I haven't yet. I did these like 2 days ago, and it went from cold and raining when I did it, and now it's like hot. So such is life. I'm planting those right next to that corn. I'm doing about 2 per hole. And then in the center, I'm going to do the squash. This clay is disastrous right here. I'm going to have to put some other stuff in here. These ones actually grew up in this spot. So the squash you can do in pots. I don't do things in pots. I think they do better in the ground, but that's just me. So I'm going to plant me some dark green zucchini in this hole. I'm going to put at least 2 seeds in there. And we'll see how they germinate. And the depth for those is 1 inch down, so to my first knuckle. And so all of these different things are like things that are going to support each other. And you want to wait till your corn, they can be like a little bit shorter like those ones over there, but you want to do it when they have a little bit of height on them, probably like when they're about 3 inches tall for your corn, and then you'll plant your other stuff. Does anybody have any questions at all? Hi, Cedar. How are you doing today? We're planting Three Sisters corn. If you missed it, I'm just gonna go turn off my hose and grab my hose real quick. Oh, I need to have me an assistant out here that can just run all this stuff for me. So crazy story while I'm grabbing this hose. So my daughter, she's just about 21, and she's been saving for a house. She works 2 jobs so that she can get qualified for a loan. She's pre-qualified, but she doesn't want to spend over a certain amount of money. So she went shopping for houses. She's been shopping for houses, and the realtor finally found one in her price range. And they wanted $180,000 for a 1-bedroom, 1-bath house. It's like a super teeny tiny house. And I was so sad for her because she's been saving. She's been working since she was 18 and just been saving and saving. And it really sucks. You just woke up from a nap? That's fun. I slept till 11 today. Going to bed at 3 o'clock is not sustainable. Hold on, guys. I'm covering my mic for a sec. I'm not sure if Twitch's rules are different with music. I don't know. Got to figure out what their copyrights on other platforms are. I think with Twitch, they just bleep out the section where something's playing that shouldn't be. Statement that covers most of the stuff in the U.S. rights is that I'm telling you, I'm really liking StreamYard's chat. All right, I'm back now. I just had to go turn on the water. I had to cover up my mic, so I couldn't talk while I was doing that. Have to get these mounds just a little bit more wet right now because it went from cold to really hot awful quick. Just gonna put a little bit of moisture in these mounds, make them a little bit easier. So that's why I need to put some straw, so I won't use straw because I don't trust the farmers. I'll just use the leaves I have, a big pile of them still. So tomorrow or Monday, I'm going to get the rest of my stuff. So I have radishes and carrots. I've got to get those in the ground ASAP. Yeah, that's what I was reading, is that on Twitch, if there's something that's copyright, they just mute it automatically, which I think is kind of nice. It's like, I guess, but I don't know. Give me a place where I don't have to spend there's like one website where you can spend $60 to purchase songs that are copyright. But the downside to that is you can only get like 10 of them. And what happens if you stop paying? Does that mean that all of a sudden now all your stuff's going to get caught? I don't know how it works. It's just a pain. I remember last time that I was going to stream on a weekend night, the neighbors were doing the same thing, and I said, screw it. Tonight we're just going to make it happen. All right, so I got one mound of a summer squash with the dark green. So I'm going to do another mound with that and the peas. Hopefully it's wet enough. When I was out here doing these, wasn't sure if you can see. So for cheese, we already did the pumpkins, but didn't quite finish them because the neighbors started playing their music louder. My mic condenses quite a bit of it, but not all of it. I've got my holes 2 inches down. I put two peas in each one. And then in the center, we'll do the summer squash. I've got like 30 plants here in the garden. So 1 inch depth for the zucchini, for the summer squash, the dark green. I don't know the difference, so I'm going to do one mound with each. And I haven't really done a ton of summer squash, but I love to make zucchini bread and pumpkin bread. So it's going to be fun to have some fresh stuff for that. All right, so over to this hip mound. So I'm going to stick the corn 1 inch deep. When you plant it earlier in the spring, you don't have to put your corn down, or not your corn, your peas. My goodness. When it's earlier in the spring, you don't have to plant them as deep because it's not so hot. So this way they'll have some good moisture deep down where they want to germinate. I'm just going to get those in that one. And then we'll just move on to the next. And then we'll go back and put the squash in these ones. It is so crazy how there's patches in my garden where the soil is just amazing. And like right here, this mound's amazing soil. That last one was terrible. But they do well still out here. All right. In the center of each of these, and change up what we're putting in here. And I'll go through and pull the weeds in here. Let's see. So I'm gonna do summer squash in one. So I'll plant one more mound, and then I'm gonna try the Ford Hook zucchini. I don't know which is better. We do jack-o'-lanterns. When it comes October, I'll sit out in the garage forever, and I'll carve for hours, and I'll just carve jack-o'-lanterns. And then the seeds, I want to harvest the seeds, and I want to learn how to harvest the insides for like pies and stuff, or for just different recipes. I want to kind of experiment because it's a food that you can grow a lot of, and they're pretty dense. So I want to experiment. A lot of the stuff I'm experimenting with for future and things at work, I want to try to teach my kids or write down. I mean, I know there's lots of books out there and not on everything, but there's a whole generation of people during the virus days that their knowledge didn't get passed down to their kids. And there's a lot of things. My mom died early. Like my mom used to can and use pressure cooker and stuff. And a lot of that knowledge, I wish, when I was younger, of course, I didn't want to know all the details of all that stuff. But now I'm like, gosh, I wish she was here to ask her. And since my grandma's gone as well, it's like, who do you ask? So I guess I need to find someone that's older that lives by me that I can pick their brain with, which is actually would probably be a good fun interview. If I can find someone. I'm sure there's someone out there. Just a lot of knowledge that doesn't get taught or passed down anymore. So these are the summer squash. No, that's not the summer squash. This is the other zucchini, and it's also going to go an inch down. So my first knuckle is an inch. There we go. Um, cedar rose. I'm not sure if you were here earlier when I was saying that I got a category 5 cable that is 120 feet. I got one that was 50 feet, and it went to the deck last night perfect so that I didn't lose connection. And then it was not long enough to come to the backyard. So now I have a category 5 cable that'll hotwire to the Wi-Fi, or to the Wi-Fi, or not the Wi-Fi, the internet, and it'll keep a stable connection, which I'm really excited about. So far with this particular, with StreamYard, I haven't had any issues with it dropping in the garden, knock on wood. So it makes me wonder if it's the streaming services wanting you to upgrade. There's a lot you can do in pots. If you have pots and you can set up a drip system, like maybe in the spring before you go back to work, or in the fall when you get laid off from work. I don't know how your season works. If you can get them set up on a drip system with a timer, and the drip systems aren't hard. You can even connect a drip system to your actual faucet, and you can have a timer on there that will automatically go off, and it can keep a lot of them hydrated. So like if you're out of town or whatnot, or you can have a neighbor check on it. But I would do pots if I'm like, when I had a rental house, I did pots. My tomatoes turned out really well, but I'm just used to the ground. I think it's easier, but there's a lot of cool things you can do with pots. But I don't know. The garden's my happy place. Like when I want to just tune out the world, this is where I come. This is like, I just need to be outside and I just need to relax. And weeds to me is not a huge chore. It's enjoyable for me. But I don't know if any of you guys were here when I did like preparing the soil for strawberries and transplanting raspberries. There were some really teeny tiny seeds that I told you were going to be flowers, and now they're starting to come up. I will have to thin them out because they'll get like 2 feet tall and about 18 inches wide. So they're like a big bush, and they have these really pretty fuzzy flowers on it. I'll have to look them up and show you, but you can see here, let's see if I can see that. You guys see all of those purple, like all those plants? That's them, and they're everywhere. So half of this stuff through here is all seeds from that plant, and there's tons of them. So I'll have to thin them out as they grow. I just got super lightheaded. So that is our Three Sisters corn. Does anybody have questions on the Three Sisters corn? Now, some plants are like that. Anyway, I don't know if you have any questions. I don't know how long this stream's been going, for about 53 minutes. Yeah, I stood up too quickly. I was bent down. I don't think I've drank enough water today or the last couple of days, which will make me dehydrated. If you're someone, off topic, if you're someone who's in the heat a lot and you have a tendency to get like heat stroke and stuff like that, double your calcium lactate intake. So take like 1,000. I'm not a doctor. This is what I do for myself. In the summer, I take 1,000 IUs of calcium lactate in the summer with magnesium, and that will stop me from getting lightheaded and getting like too much heat, like heat stroke. That's what I do for myself. And the last week I haven't taken it, and I think I can definitely tell, but not medical advice. That's just what I do for myself. When I had a little sister, my mom used to end up in the hospital all the time from heat stroke. And so I try to prevent it. And this morning, I watered all of these yummy raspberries in the corner. I watered them really, really good so I can pick them straight off the vine for an afternoon snack, which I'm pretty excited about. Let's see if I can find a couple in here. Overheat from Cialis. I don't have the problem of overheating from Cialis. But if you do, take calcium lactate. It's amazing. So what calcium does, give you a little nutritional education, what calcium does as it aids in the transportation of water in and out of the cell. So if you're dehydrated, you're in the sun and you're losing a lot of heat, the calcium lactate will help drive that water in and out. I started looking into gooseberries. So this year I'm not going to do gooseberry, but next year I'm going to do gooseberry. And I think I'm going to stick it on the opposite end of the yard, on the other side of my pumpkin plants. And I think it'd be a nice little barrier to that part of the garden. Make it kind of look cool. If that makes sense. I don't know if you're going to be able to see me in here. I'm going to put that right yonder. Hopefully that's not going to tip. Okay. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to pick me some fresh strawberries. And the best part of not using any kind of pesticides is I can eat these straight from the garden like this. And I can grub on them. There's so many. These are the biggest that my strawberries have ever been. And I don't remember who all was in here when I went over using hydrogen peroxide to aerate. Ooh, this one's nice and red. To aerate the ground. And then I put diluted milk. So I took 2% milk. So it was a quarter of a gallon of 2% milk. And it was when it was starting to go rotten. So I wasn't wasting anything, right? I was going to have to throw it out. And then I filled the rest of it up with water. So 1/4 gallon of 2% milk and the rest water. And then I poured it on the soil. But usually these strawberries start getting big like the second part of the year. But for this early in the year, they are so nice. So this is to be my afternoon treat while working in the garden. One of my clients has gooseberries, and she can't put them all up, so I can always go pick her gooseberries and put them up. But I want to have my own. They're good. After I realized what they were, I remembered that she had brought me some over because she had too many. Well, last year she didn't even have time to pick them, so I think a lot went to waste. These are so good. They're amazing. Look up Cedar Rose. I can't remember if you're up in Canada. I can't remember what your climate is. I don't know if you have a cooler climate. I'm not sure. I need to look at people's different regions and see what their growing season is, which is something I will do. What things grow best. I know it grows best in zone 5 and what temperatures they like, but I need to get more educated in other people's areas. I wonder if they've gotten killed out or if it's intentional. I always get curious about that stuff. So I was going to plant flowers in baskets on the other end of the house, and I don't think my neighbors are going to cooperate with me. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to move my baskets to this side of the house, set up my computer, and maybe just sit and chill and plant my flowers in my baskets. So let's see, it's 5:04 right now, so 6 o'clock. Because I want to experiment with streaming with StreamYard from. So now on my phone, I've got it figured out. Now I want to see how it's going to be with my computer, my camera. So not too far. You're not too far north. Why did I think you're further north? Oh, North Dakota and Minnesota. So where you're at, you'll struggle with getting watermelons to grow because your growing season's not long enough or hot enough. But that'd be cool. So anyway, I've been eating my strawberries and they're like a little bit tart, but they're still sweet. Hi, Mike. How are you? Of course you come at the end, huh? Or maybe you're already in here. So anyway, this was my first time using StreamYard. No, I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'm telling people what I used because I was nervous about trying because I've tried about 3 different things. And so far, today was streaming to 2 different platforms. It's been a success. So I'm really excited about it. And I'm going to try it from the laptop later so I can have the other camera. Hi, look at now everybody's coming in, Freedom. Nice. Hi, how are you? So anyway, I'm going to be back in an hour. I'm going to make some pork chops, and then I'm going to move some baskets, and we're going to plant some baskets outside. So I've got to move it away from the neighbor playing music. So who else just got in here? I want to say hi to everybody before I go. Anyway, all right. I don't know how to end these things. One of these days, I'm going to come up with a script. But this is Garden Talk with Sally, at Talk with Sally on YouTube, Rumble, and Venmo. And then I now have a Twitch account that is Sally P78. So we'll watch the movies. So if people are streaming tonight, we're going to watch, which Freedom's not going to like this movie because it's scary, but I promised someone that we'd watch Smile. So we're going to watch Smile and then another movie if everybody's up for it. You want a pork chop stream? I could do that. Let me bring mild culture. I can bring I'll bring my computer inside because it'll be easier from that. It'll take 20 minutes. So I will do a pork chop stream in 20 minutes and I'll show you what I do. Bye.